Hey guys, Ramblin' Man Moto here. It's New Year's Eve when I'm recording this. My bike has about, 25 miles to go, 20 miles before I run out of gas. I'm going to go and get some gas in the tank and thought I would turn on the cameras. One of you said you could see my nose hairs. I had the handlebar camera so low, and that was because of the curve of the bars and the limitation of the mount I'm using. I moved it a little further up the bar, so it's a little different angle. It's also a little more in my line of sight, just slightly. Same mount. We'll see if that does any different. I gotta get to a gas station. I'll see you on the road. That was interesting. Alright, Ramblin' Man on the road. So we're looking ahead to 2025. What are your resolutions when it comes to motorcycling? Life? Whatever. I'm not real big on the resolutions. Most studies have shown that within about a week and a half, most people have dropped whatever they had planned to do. One time, though, I recall reading Benjamin Franklin every year tried to work on a different vice. And knowing what, if we know about Ben Franklin, you wonder if he tried to go deeper into those vices. But something like he tried to work on a different virtue or vice each year. Those guys were all cut from a different cloth. But anyhow, the year ahead for me, I haven't put much thought into this. I'm gonna have to sit down and make a list. I prefer a list and having stuff in writing. But I think I want to take another training course this year, maybe a couple. I want to start taking some overnight trips with the bike. I did one on the Scout when I went to the Outer Banks, but really haven't done much after that. I considering getting a Roadmaster at some point, maybe, but probably wait on that, maybe till later in the year. Definitely want to continue some of the parking lot drills. I kind of skipped those during December. Get the U-turns down. I've mentioned before I had this issue with the handlebars on this bike where they had gotten off center at one point, and I swear when I get on here I sometimes still feel like they're off center when you start looking here, but I feel like the handlebars might be slightly off. I don't think they are, but sometimes when I look down, they feel like they are. Start to wonder if it's in my head, before I had the stage 1 upgrade done, I was getting over 200 miles on a full tank. And I've told the story in another video about how the dealer said they would redo the stage 1 programming. And then when I went all the way up there to have them do it while they were doing something else, I'm pretty sure it was the owner and his damn cheapness. Nah, we don't need to do that. Just give it more time. It'll work itself out. And it never did. My gas mileage really went down noticeably to me after the stage 1. I was getting over 50 miles per gallon. And now, let's see. I guess we're going to check here in a minute. We'll see. But I think it went down to like 44. And I've had some people on some forums that was 6 miles per gallon and isn't a big drop. Yeah, we're going 45 out here. You might want to get up the road. But it's like when you spread it out between different, when you spread it out across the whole tank, that's a significant difference to me. All right, so let's see. We're going to be at 155.3 miles. Well, this says 47 miles per gallon. I'm going to reset that and we'll see. Hey, thank you. Have a good day. All right, 3.567 miles. Gallons. What is 155 divided by 3.567?
155 divided by 3.567 is approximately 43.4538.
All right, so I just checked Siri if I did the numbers, if I remembered them correctly. And it's saying about 43 miles per gallon. And, you know, I was clearly getting over 50 before. Now, some people told me that it was because I've gotten more experience and I'm driving harder. So, you know, what's interesting to me is that the bike says 47, but the actual fill-up says 43. And then, I know I was getting over 50 before the stage one. And now that would say 43, and I'm going to check the math when I go back and rewatch the videos. All right. Police are definitely out for New Year's Eve. And there were reports online, of course, with the revelry. You want to wait till I get by there, Chief? So that continues to be a pet peeve of mine. I know you guys are sick of hearing me talk about it. The rolling start. You're not even past a vehicle yet, and their wheels are starting to move before you've passed them, because they want to time it that they're following it right behind, and they're confident they can predict what I'll be doing. Don't do that. We have 25-mile-an-hour wind gusts today. Been a bummer because I want to fly my drone, and the wind gusts, my little drone, I don't feel comfortable with those wind gusts. We had some the other day, 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Heck, on the motorcycle, this one in particular, it pushes it around. I'm going nowhere in particular. I have been riding this on a couple of rides since I did the suspension adjustment, and I continue to be glad that I did that. Maybe could have gone 3 rotations, but I stand by that it's a big improvement from what it was. So thank you to the person who commented on that and kind of got me to thinking about that. Shame on me for not taking the time to ever do that before. I don't know if you guys can tell from the video, like what I was talking about with the handlebars. I did put a riser on the set of handlebars some time ago, that's the project where it got off center. The Indian dealer moved them over. They said I was just off. I was trying to line it up on this cut because I figured that's where it was, but on that it definitely felt like I was over here exaggerating, or I guess, yeah, I guess it was that way. Well, it would have been more this way, I guess, because I had it more that way. I think it got into my head with especially with the windscreen on, about whether they were all centered up. I have not been down one of these particular side roads. It's got a bit bumpy of a ride. Not potholes, but just bumpy. So I think I'm going to head that way and ride a little bit of the back road. Maybe do a little loop around. Any of you planning to buy a bike in the new year? I'm not sure I'm ever going to buy a new bike again. My Scout was brand spanking new. Now, as a newbie, I spent hours researching stuff online, and of course, everybody said, don't buy a new bike for your first bike because you will drop it. Buy a cheap used, $500 bike, right? And I didn't do that. I ignored that advice. My thinking was I wanted something nice that I knew I would want to use more and more. And I never dropped that Indian Scout because I was pretty cautious. I did drop the super cheap, this one, on a 3 mile an hour or less slow maneuver. And but the prices between new and used, makes used much more attractive. No dock fees, no prep fees, no travel fees. And if you buy it off season, you tend to get a better deal. So I tend to check Facebook Marketplace, Cycle Trader. Craigslist never seems to really have much these days, but those other two sources do. And I wouldn't buy new anymore, but I bought the Indian Scout new because I didn't want to take my chances inheriting someone's bad bike that they've worked on. But the thing that has struck me on the used motorcycles is, and you guys probably already know all this stuff, I'm playing catch up on knowledge and experience, but for my first one I didn't want something somebody messed around with. I just wanted it brand new, under warranty, as a newbie. Now that I've gotten more experience, I think I've noticed there's so many people that buy a motorcycle to say they own one, and then it just sits in the garage, or they thought they would have more time to ride and they don't. They only ride on weekends. And, these used bikes are out there with 800 miles on them, 1,500 miles on them. That was the road I meant to take. Darn it. Running my mouth. That was the road I was going to turn on back there. Oh, well. It's good riding ahead, too. But, on these used bikes, I bought this Super Chief Limited from a Harley dealership. I think there was about 300 miles on it, if I remember correctly. And that Indian Springfield I bought used, I think that was like 750 miles. I'm kind of forgetting. That's why I make lists and have it all written down. But, on that Springfield, I got lucky, and the new owner let me transfer over his extended warranty that he bought. The Super Chief was under warranty when I bought it used. And I think this Super Chief Limited, they had it priced basically like the price of a Chief. I think that's what it was. Well, one of the reasons I got it was the Harley dealer wanted the Indian off their lot. Basically, they acknowledged that, but also I think I saved about $2,000 on what was still basically just a brand new bike. And the Springfield was a great deal that I got on that. That was a guy traded it in to buy a sports car for his girly friend. Didn't like him riding. He was an older fella. And that car dealership just wanted it gone. So anyhow, are you thinking of buying something this year? Part of me somewhat regrets I never bought the Harley I thought I was going to get one day. I always thought when I got into this I was going to get a Harley Fat Boy, and ended up going Indian and haven't looked back. I was looking at some of the used Roadmasters on those different sites, and there's a few that I think are out of touch with where the market is. Hey, I tried the same thing when I sold my Scout. I tried to get a lot more for it. And one thing for sure, all the custom mods, I mean, I think people think they're going to recoup 100%. I didn't think that, but I think people think they're going to get 100% of the cost back, or maybe even 50%, maybe just 50%, 50. But you're probably not. But they price them that way. I sold mine and left the Corbin seat on it. I probably should have just removed that Corbin seat and sold it separately. If I sell this bike, that may be what I do. But you know, to sell the Corbin seat, it's got the red band on it that matches the color here, and somebody may not want to buy the seat if it doesn't match. So then your potential number of buyers is reduced with that customization. And the things that you like about your bike that you did custom, another buyer may not desire at all. They may plan on undoing it. Exhaust is a big one. Seats, maybe, depending upon, you know, if you're a shorter rider and they've got it set up for extended reach, stuff like that. I just assume I'm going to have to replace the tires. That's not always been the case, but you know, you bake that into the price of a used bike, and you never really know if they've dropped it or not. It's just their word of honor, and you're trying to check it out. You know, when I see these motorcycles come through this area, they all tend to stay on that main route, which is Route 33, which runs a good part of the, you know, the state. A lot of my videos have me jumping on that road and riding it all the way to the mountains. And if you took it the opposite direction, it will take you into the city of Richmond, and you keep on going. Yeah, basically, and it ends at, I guess, at Broad Street, and then you can, turns into different names and splits up. But anyhow, if you go west, it goes all the way to the mountains. But they miss out on all these nice little side roads where there's not a lot of traffic. And I've said before, to me, some of these roads are better than Skyline Drive. I mean, Skyline Drive, a lot of it has been overgrown, and then you'll see the valley or the mountains will pop out at an occasional overlook, and then you go right back to a two-lane road with woods on both sides of you, basically. And that's what we got here. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I ride that area quite a bit, and like the experience of just stopping at the overlooks, maybe take a bite to eat, have a little break out there and take it in. But you know, for hopping on some quick roads, for nice riding, this is pretty nice. I mean, you guys have seen, I don't know that any car has passed me, maybe one car from the opposite direction. Nobody's behind me. The road quality is tolerable. Now, one thing I like to do sometimes is, I've gotten to know some of these roads around here now, but when I didn't, I would put the Zumo navigation unit here, and I would just take turns, just blindly take turns. And then when I got to a point where I wanted to get back home, you know, just hit home on the navigation, let it get me the heck out of wherever I've ended up, so that I can find home base again or get back to the next major route. something I would never really do in a car or be inclined to do, but it's fun to do on the motorcycle. As long as you don't run into like dirt roads, gravel roads, which happens out here sometimes. You'll hit out of the blue in state maintenance and it turns into like a dirt road. I'm going to be making probably an update video on my concealed carry on the bike. You know, I was using that chest holster, chest mount. I don't like it. Like, it's a hassle. Maybe it's the brand I bought. It keeps coming undone on the clips, on the sides, so then it's really loose. There's been a few times when I have stopped and I want to take my coat off, and now all of a sudden I got those guns that makes people uncomfortable. You know, they act as if criminals walk around open carrying like that. They don't. They come in shooting, and you know. But when I've got my jacket on, it's fine. But the main thing is just the time factor. It's just getting it on. And more so, like, it pops up. The sides pop up a lot. Disconnect the way that one is made. So right now I'm not even using it. I don't have that one on today. I'm carrying pocket carry, which again is still not my favorite. The other day I carried my full-size gun on my hip. This morning in the news, in this county that I'm in, they're looking for a guy for attempted murder in a domestic dispute. They put out the car info saying he probably ditched the car, but they think he may still be in the area. Out here, man, there's so many places to hide in the woods. I always wonder when I'm out riding, you don't know what the heck you're gonna see. I remember on the when I made, I think it was on my video about the firearms, where and I've seen this on other forums too, where people will say, I like a chest rig, or maybe on my hip, easily accessible, and if somebody attacks me, I can ride and pull my gun even though your throttle hand's over here. Then they'll say, that's what they made cruise control for. Put it in cruise control, pull out and shoot. It's like, what world are you living in? You know they haven't practiced that scenario. Have you tried taking your gun out with a glove on? Unzipping? Realize my coat's open. I guess you could leave it open. Guess when I filled up with gas, I never went back up, huh? I mean, I have tried to pull my gun out, like in my pocket. There's no way I'm pulling a gun out safely with this glove on, out of pocket carry. And if I'm on my bike, I'm hoping to get the hell out of there, not stand around trying to shoot off the bike while moving like it's some action hero movie. I just don't think it's realistic. You know, maybe once I'm off the bike, remove the glove. You gotta wait for your opportunity. If you guys don't watch Active Self-Protection video channel, you should do that. Lots of good info there. And he talks a lot about this topic of, you know, waiting for your opportunity to counterattack. I don't see any scenario where I don't care what rig I'm carrying, pulling out a gun, cruise control, riding, shooting. It's so hysterical that people actually think that that's going to be realistic. And I'm sure this comment alone will prompt some people to say it's totally realistic. You may not feel comfortable on your bike, but I could do that. I want to fly my drone at that mill so badly. Parking's not great around there, but I think I may try it one day when it's a little warmer. See, the bike says I'm getting 52 miles a gallon right now, and if that were true, it ends up never being true anymore. Like the more I get close to the end of the ride, it's back down. It says 47 when I filled up today, but if I went off what I measured, it was 43. That's if I did recall the right numbers when I did the math. I'll check it on video later. And I was getting over 200 miles on a full tank. Sometimes I try to make a note of these roads and look at them on Google Maps. Make sure I don't end up at some farm at the end of it where it dead ends. Sometimes that happens. It's no fun. I like for them to connect to another road. Name of this road, Gun Barrel Road. That just would be a cool road to live on. I live on Gun Barrel Road, partner. Got some roads that I haven't been down that I would like to maybe experiment, but probably not today. But sticking to the roads I know. The other thing I've sometimes wondered on the gas mileage on it, using the total miles, is whether I'm actually filling the tank up all the way. So I'll admit, I used to fill my tank up by staying seated on the bike, so that the bike was straight, and I would fill it up while seated on the bike. And I stumbled on an article where someone pointed out in the owner's manual that's not how they say to fill it up. And some other video told me that, or some comment in the video said that they noticed how I was filling it up and that I'm not getting all the gas, which seemed to me if the bike was leaning this way, gas is going to go that way and you'd miss out. But I don't know, I was just kind of, you know, theorizing. So I have now, I always get off the bike now. What do you guys do on that? Do you stay on your bike? Do you get off? Are you guys familiar with this story out of New York about the squirrel and the raccoon that were living with this couple that took the squirrel in and rehabbed it, and then the government showed up and went like ATF Elian Gonzalez style on this raccoon and this squirrel? Ended up killing both of them because they claimed they were bitten by them. I remember hearing about that squirrel from J.D. Vance during the presidential campaign, but it wasn't until this past week when I got the NRA magazine by email, and they had an article all about what really happened and with quotes from the guy. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I could, unfortunately, I could believe it, but New York can't stop murders on a subway, illegal immigrants, rapes. No, we don't want to bother enforcing that, but we'll have whatever it was, like 10 or 12 different vehicles show up, told this guy he couldn't go in his own house, couldn't use the bathroom. They went all through this guy's house, turning it over like he was a terrorist, all because the squirrel and raccoon were undomesticated animals or something in his house. And of course, some busybody, anonymous tipper, who saw the video and didn't like it, I don't like what you're doing, reported an anonymous tip. Now, you could give all the anonymous tips you want about illegal immigrants. I bet New York wouldn't even bother to investigate it. But you let this guy have a squirrel and a raccoon, and they show up like, remember Elian Gonzalez? That's the picture I have in my head, with a gun pointed at this kid when they said, well, the ATF agent's finger wasn't on the trigger. Oh, I bet that was a relief to little Elian. It's insane. If you haven't read that story, I'm not sure I have a way to link it here, maybe Dropbox or something, but just look it up, that squirrel story. I forgot to turn on that road again. That was the road I was going to go that way. Maybe I can take another side road and work my way back. If you haven't seen the facts of that case, you look it up. And if you think what the New York government did was a reasonable, measured step that they should have done, you probably don't like my channel views. It's just over the top scary that they have the authority to enter someone's house and do what they did to this guy, all because a squirrel and a raccoon were living inside the house. And they had actually, I guess, gotten this big following with this squirrel on a YouTube channel, to the point that they were able to like move to upstate New York and open up like an animal shelter to take care of more animals. So a lot of good came out of the story, but nope, government can't have that. I might pull over and just take a little break, a little stretch break. Check on some of the equipment. There's a library up here. I tend to pull over and use that as a good spot. One thing I've noticed, I almost hesitate to mention this, and I think it was again after the stage 1, is that I feel like this bike, when I'm in 5th R6 gear, above 60 to 65, above that range, I feel like I'm maxing out the bike. Like I feel like it's struggling. I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling in the throttle and the engine, but it doesn't feel like it's easily handling it. It feels like it is struggling. So I really don't know how to otherwise describe what I'm experiencing. All right, I'm going to take a little break here. Probably time to change some batteries. And we'll see if I go for any more riding or share some of this stuff, all right? I may see you on the road. Rambling Man back on the road. I'm just going to do one quick loop around, and then I'm heading home. I hope everybody, I'm not sure how quickly I'll get this video out, so either have a good New Year's Eve, or I hope you did have a good New Year's Eve. And here's to a good 2025 for all of us. I'm gonna ride on down. I may not chat much. I just may show some of this ride to you. You can see the backcountry roads here. And those bumps would have killed me before the suspension change. That didn't feel too bad at all. A lot of bumps there too. And they're feeling fine, by the way. All these bumps are feeling fine. Even though I've accustomed myself to brace for bumps, the suspension adjustment we did really has helped. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the ride. I'm gonna switch the cameras off and just enjoy some riding and then work my way back on home. Happy New Year. The Rambler Man will see you on the road in 2025.